A new survey that's just been revealed within the last few hours in the United States shows that executives all across America believe China is about to flood America, flood the United States with cheap, affordable, high-quality electric cars and plug-in hybrids. Trump has now reversed tariffs. He said, you know what, 145% tariffs, we've now gone to 30%. That means tariffs on cars coming from China to the United States are lower on average than tariffs on Chinese cars sold in Europe. 30% tariff. The Chinese automakers are saying, well, thank you very much. This is our opportunity, especially considering there's a 25% tariff on cars coming outside of America, from Japan, from South Korea, from Mexico, wherever it may be. This means that China can now compete. It means that China is getting itself ready, preparing in the hopes that Trump's tariffs don't last for 90 days. This new plan doesn't go for 90 days, but China actually negotiates and signs a long agreement contract with the United States, which will change everything. Now, the survey has said that executives in the United States believe this is imminent. It's about to happen. Here are the details. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. It's great to have you with us. The US and China said that they will temporarily lower tariffs on each other's products in a dramatic ratcheting down of trade tensions that buys the world's two largest economies 3 months or 90 days to work toward a broader agreement. So China's imports, the tariffs on them has been reduced from 145% to 30%. That is very manageable for Chinese car companies. Remember, China can make electric cars probably 50% cheaper than America can. This means they are going to be in the door very soon. And it's not just my opinion. You might be thinking to yourself, well, it's Electric Viking saying this is going to happen. Well, not really, actually. Most automaker executives who participated in Kerrigan Advisors 2025 OEM survey said they believe Chinese car makers will enter the United States market. This was before these Trump tariffs were reversed to 30%. So basically, 70% of respondents, 70%, said they are very concerned about the financial implications of Chinese automakers' rising global market share. And most of them said China is coming to the United States. Chinese cars are coming, whether that's through Mexico, whether that's through knock-up factories in America. It's going to happen. Kerrigan Advisors' annual automaker survey in its third year collected responses from more than 100 US automaker executives from December through March, mostly before the Trump administration announced auto tariffs. That was before the tariffs on cars made in America and cars made outside of China. So essentially, this news now that tariffs are reduced to 30% from 145% means almost 100% certainty that Chinese automakers will enter the US car market. The survey also asked participants about electric vehicle sales, dealer profitability, and the franchise system. Automotive News China says that Aaron Kerrigan, managing director of Kerrigan Advisors, a dealership sell-side firm in Incline Village, said the questions about Chinese automakers were added to this year's survey given their growing dominance globally and in their home market. These are considered real threats by the OEMs, they said. Another new question on this year's survey found a third of automaker executives expect to have fewer dealers in their network in the next 5 years. Just 14% expect to have more. And in another new question, 28% said they will exercise a right of first refusal. That's a tool that allows an automaker to refuse a potential store buyer and replace them with a buyer of their choice more than a quarter of the time in the buy-sell deals they receive. So as you can see here, question was, are you concerned about the financial impact of the rising global market share of Chinese automakers on your OEM? And 70% said yes. Do you think Chinese OEMs will enter the US market? 70% said yes. And this was when tariffs on Chinese cars were 145%, and 70% of them are still saying, yes, they're coming regardless. They'll figure out a way to do it. Now the tariffs have been reduced to 30%. Well, it's not going to be a 70% response. It's not going to be 70% of people saying yes. It's going to be 100% without any question. It's certainly consistent with what we have observed in the buy-sell market. They said OEMs are retreating, and there is certainly confusion at this point in time. Now, there was some sort of crazy responses, though, which I personally think are just people being massively optimistic and hoping that their business will succeed. 66% of respondents said they expect dealership profits to increase this year. Also a higher number than the 57% who said in Kerrigan's dealer survey. But this was before the Trump tariffs were announced. So, I mean, I'm going to assume that those 66% of people who said dealership profits would grow, I'm going to guess that they all would be saying that that's not the case any longer. So guys, clearly we have some very good evidence here, opinions and actual facts showing there's a very high likelihood of Chinese electric cars, Chinese plug-in hybrids entering the US car market within possibly this year. It could be imminent and it's going to change things in a pretty dramatic way. I know Trump wants one thing. He wants them to build factories in the United States where they assemble and partially build their cars. Trump has encouraged the Chinese to actually do that. And this may be the start of something really quite disruptive to the American automotive industry. China has a plan. It does not really need Americans as much as America thinks. Sanctions won't work and tariffs will make it more expensive for the American middle class, who we know many are broke as it is. With hyperinflated prices, less availability of products, less choice, well, things are only going to get worse. In the year 2000, 24 years ago, China accounted for around 6% of global manufacturing. Not really all that much, 6%. By 2030, they're on track to account for over 50% of global manufacturing. Everything that's made, more than 50% of it will be made in China. As a result, America is on track for its lowest number in decades. Most Western economists are in complete denial about what is happening right now. China is decoupling itself from the US. It has no choice. What's happening is actually called the Delete America Initiative, and it's gathering momentum right now. Whilst this will hurt both America and China, tariffs on both sides are going to cause huge economic pain. China has been preparing itself for what is happening, but I don't believe the United States has been doing the same thing. America's fight against China is one it is destined to lose. The US is putting tariffs on Chinese electric cars, Chinese goods, pretty much anything Chinese. If it's a solar panel, same deal applies. CFR.org said this, and it's a sentiment that is shared by many Americans, but is this actually true? US trade with China has grown enormously in recent decades and is crucial for both countries. Today, China is one of the largest export markets for US goods and services, and the United States is the top export market for China.